coverage picks up again, and the next apparatus final on. Gymnasts entering into the arena. Everyone kept nice and on their toes throughout the intermission. Here's the women's balance beam final, and running simultaneously to that, we have the men's vault competition. Opportunities for more home medals for France in both these two finals. Melanie de Jesus dos Santos is back, and alongside her in this final, she has her compatriots as well, Marine Boyer. So good opportunities for France on the women's balance beam. So over on the men's vaults, there is Loris Frasca as well. So Will Emard, his third final. He's competing here in Paris. The Canadian. Redele Zapata is next to him, the Spaniard, in his second final. Anastasia Agafonova, silver medal on the women's uneven bars. There is Hayden Skinner. Very good showing on the floor earlier on, and we know who this is, a French gymnast. It is Melanie de Jesus dos Santos. Fabian De Luna of Mexico, the only Mexican to have made a final here. Georgia May Fenton there, just from Great Britain, then Diana Barinska of the Ukraine. Jake Jarman there for Great Britain. Anastasia Bachinska from Ukraine, and then Loris Frasca, the cheers for him, clouding out those for any others. So there is Marine Boyer, the final gymnast in the turn.
Mesdemoiselles, Messieurs, nous sommes en compétition.
So here we go.
We resume the competition.
The men's vaults, Will Emard will set everybody off. Getting used to having to go early in the rotation is Will Emard. Redele Zapata, followed by Hayden Skinner. And then we have Gana Metelitsa from Belarus, followed by Agafonova, followed by de Jesus dos Santos at the beginning, and Georgia May Fenton going in number 4. Top qualifier for the women's balance beam competition. Whilst we just have a quick touch warm-up, it looks like, for some of the gymnasts. Melanie de Jesus dos Santos, she topped the billing, 14.1 in qualification. Then it was Barinska, then Bachinska, the two Ukrainians. Will Emard is going to be running down the runway. So here we go in the men's vault competition. Emard qualifying the third highest, a 14.175. Now this first vault has a 5.2 difficulty. So here comes Will Emard. Good speed, good height, and just unable to stay on his feet. So full mark deduction for hitting any other part of your body other than your legs. If it's down on the mat in such a manner, then it will be a full mark down for Emard. Let's focus on the in-flight moments, and there's nothing too drastically out of place in the air. There's good speed too, and nice elevation. But a difficult one for Emard because he's stuck, well, Let's take a step back from that. He landed his landing, managed to stay up on 2 feet in qualification. Just saw then, this is a much lower difficulty than the first one. This is a 4.8 and the first was a 5.2. Executed it very well in his qualification run. Took a 9 flat. So Emard braces himself. And another 2 hands down. Well, that's tough lines for Will Emard when it goes like that. He went for both his vaults. Really didn't leave anything behind. Good speed on the runway and the handspring on the board. So Gana Metelitsa from Belarus with her balance beam routine. Qualified for the final in 8th position, just 16 years old. Metelitsa, only other appearance was in Koper on the World Challenge Cup this season. Just an intentional dismount. Unstabilised, but recovered well. And a pirouette, she handled the loss of balance and a slight adjustment required well. When you talk about pushing yourself and going to new heights in a gymnastics career, you've got to expose yourself to atmospheres like this. And Gana Metelitsa, after coming off early on, really had to problem solve on those occasions when she just lost a slight moment of balance, and she came through the rest of it with her head held high. And Will Emard with his results now. Zapata. Oh, that's big. It's a little too big. The forward momentum, too much to control for Redele Zapata. 2 hands down on the mat, and he pushed himself there as well. Double. Just the front somersault. Up in the tuck position. Let's bring on. Really went for it. Zapata qualified in the vault competition with a 13.65. Was only enough for 7th position in qualification. Metelitsa with a 10.8. So she is well down actually on her qualification score. Second vault from Zapata. It's a 4.8 difficulty. And here he comes. Getting good power and flow in the air, and that time managing to land it, managing to exert his control. He's of Dominican Republic origins is Rede Zapata, but he moved to Lanzarote in Spain when he was 9 years old. Anastasia Agafonova now, already up and performing skills on the balance beam. So important for the judges to see that a routine is fluid and blended. Agafonova, big dismounts, and she lands it. Very, very nice routine, and not without those moments and losses of balance, as we see Zapata's 13.775. Now Hayden Skinner, the 8th qualifier for this final. Good height and very nicely down, spotting the landing. Perhaps running through his mind was the need not to risk things too much in this first vault, because he incurred a 0.3 penalty from qualification. Here you can see there's good line, the legs a little bit bent at the knee, but together. Agafonova into first position ahead of Gana Metalica, 13.4. So Skinner's first, straight onto his second. Less difficult, can he execute? This time landing a little to the right side of that runway strip, as we see, but within the bounds. Melanie de Jesus dos Santos on the balance beam. Bearing in mind it is just 10 centimetres wide. Artistic gymnastics balance beam there. It is made to look as wide as a pavement by Melanie de Jesus dos Santos. Superb recovery. Stitching the whole routine together. Moments of low work in the routine. they were expecting and they received, because Melanie de Jesus dos Santos was possibly in a bubble of her own. We could hear the raucous applause for her across every moment. We see that Hayden Skinner taking the lead in the men's vault competition ahead of Zapata and Emard. Now it is the turn of De Luna from Mexico. Good speed again, and big forward bounce with both feet, so a small deduction on landing. Look to stretch out those feet, but not quite with pointed toes, but legs slightly coming apart.
La note est en cours de préparation. Un premier saut globalement réussi, un sursaut à la réception.
22-year-old lining up his second vault. Same difficulty. Executed it very well in qualification. 9.1. If he nails this, he could be into the lead ahead of Hayden Skinner. Born in Chicago, Fabian De Luna. Here he is, competing for Mexico, looking to put himself amongst things, and very, very ambitious. Not quite the landing, and he's just going to take a marked deduction for not landing on his feet. Melanie de Jesus dos Santos is into second. So, despite the expectant calls from the crowd, a lovely mount by Georgia May Fenton from Great Britain. Stability in the wolf turns. Element of low work. Thinking of the skills. This draw has finally opened up with the score just posted from Melanie de Jesus dos Santos. Not at all where she was hoping to be finishing. Is it opening for the likes of Georgia May Fenton? Small correction on the pirouette. Very nice from Georgia May Fenton, and you get a sense of the crowd here with a British athlete following on from a French. They're not just supporting France at all, they are supporting good to watch artistic gymnastics, and that is exactly what Georgia May Fenton provided. And Fabian De Luna into third position on the vault. Artem Dolgopia now on the runway. Dolgopia fourth in qualification. And that first vault of his in qualification he scored particularly highly with. It's a 9.1 in execution, it's a 5.2 difficulty. Dolgopiat's journey started actually in Ukraine before he moved to Israel as a 12-year-old. And gymnastics, amongst many things, giving him an elite pathway to a sporting career, but also allowed him to speak Hebrew, as that is how he learned the language on moving to Israel. It was through gymnastics and through his regular appearances at his local gym that allowed him to pick up the language. 13.95 for the first. So a little down by a quarter, even more of a mark, so needs to nail this, and it's a lower difficulty. 4.8 for Dolgopiat. And that's off balance indeed. Well, it is all time in the bank for Artem Dolgopiat. He is looking to go to the Worlds in Stuttgart. And he's looking to come away with big medals. Silvers, even the gold as well. Georgia May Fenton coming in second position, so she now bumps down Melanie de Jesus dos Santos. Anastasia Agafonova is still in the lead. Diana Varinska, however, from Ukraine, is up next. She's the second in qualification. 18-year-old. Someone who's approaching her gymnastics very differently these days. And performing with abandon and yet precision. Brilliant start. Adjustment, everything so quickly. And the second top qualifier, Diana Varinska, puts together a well-stitched routine, connecting nicely between the elements. And that mindset that has shifted for her and has come out of approaching things a little different in terms of what this sport is all about. It's not just about focusing on the Olympics for her, it's far more than that. Here is Jake Jarman from Great Britain. He's just 17 years old and fresh out of junior competition. He was very successful as a junior too. Silver in the European Championships in 2018 as a junior. Earlier this year he's become the 2019 British champion at under 18 level in the all-around category. Fiercely difficult to get a spot, of course, at the World Championships for anyone who is not established. GB team has the likes of James Hall, Max Whitlock, Gianni Regini Moran, Dom Cunningham, Joe Fraser. Just going to see Artem Dolgopiat take fourth position on the leaderboard. It is still Jake Jarman's teammate, Hayden Skinner, who leads the way for Great Britain, 14.025. Jarman, though, was the second in qualification, so could be challenging his teammate at the top of the leaderboard. Very, very good height off, and adjustment back was required and would have gone the way of Dolgopiat otherwise. Came at a cost, of course, just that big step backwards, more than a metre, carrying a high deduction So Wawrinska is into second. And where will his vaults leave Germany? In terms of his in-flights, look, he's got a good aspect to him. Anastasia Bachinska now, following on from teammate Wawrinska, the Ukrainian. So important for Bachinska not to come off the apparatus, has happened to her in the balance beam. Happened actually in Szczecin at the European Championships. She was the third qualifier here. Still it is Agafonova. For dismounts. And lovely double back somersaults in the tuck position. And the third top qualifier, if she's managed to get close to that score of 13.6 that she scored in qualification, she will be in the lead. Jake Jarman also in the lead for Great Britain. He bumps down Hayden Skinner. So it is a Great British 1-2 at the moment in men's vault. What does Loris Fraska have to say about that? Fast and well-formed rotations. Tried to keep the arms in as tight as possible. Legs came away a little bit. New score of Jarman's with 14.375 is more than a third of a mark ahead of the rest of the field now. Fraska, however, the man to try and pull him back because he qualified him first. And he's pretty much matched his score of the first vault in qualification. For a difficulty of 5.6, he's got a 14.9. This is the same difficulty. Can he improve on execution? Just under 9. He goes very, very high with the Dragulescu. One step back, Loris Fraska. Up in the tucked position, and then that half turn at the end. Handspring on. Not the best form as he landed, but it's such a difficult vault to land. And the consensus being amongst the coaches there that Fraska will be into the lead. Anastasia Bachinska, however, won't be. She is still just under Anastasia Agafonova, 13.3. And Fraska is into the lead, 14.85. Big score, almost half a mark ahead of Jake Jarman. Now Rose Wu, who was promoted to this final, having finished 9th in qualification. Ellie Downey, who originally was in this final, unable to take her place. I'm not entirely sure why, but it is Rose Wu who has her opportunity. Difficulty from Rose Wu. Executing well. And all the way through to the dismounts. Rose Wu from Canada. 9th in qualification. I don't think she is going to be bottom of the pile in this final. No, certainly not. Adria Vera now for Spain. Vera the 6th in qualification. Someone who has finished 5th earlier this season in Copa in a final. Good form and landing nicely, I think, with 1 foot outside of those runway strips that we see. Which will incur deductions. Very good line. Very good line in the body. The legs only slightly apart. And only half a foot over the line. It's a good vault from Adria Vera. Still waiting Rose Wu's scores. Now this second vault is less difficult. But he didn't execute it as well as his first in qualification. It's improved in the final with that first vault. His best results on the World Circuit, the World Cup circuit, came back in 2016 when he took a silver on the vault in Cottbus in Germany. Is he vaulting himself into a medal position here, Adria Vera? Seems very nonplussed. What will be, perhaps. Rose Wu has gone into 5th. Now, Marine Boya. So far, this final hasn't gone to plan from a French perspective, with the low scores of Melanie de Jesus dos Santos rather muting the French crowd. Boya, the 4th in qualification. Excuse me, 7th in qualification, Boya. And she stayed on. How she stayed on, I don't know. But she has. Splendidly so. Nice turns from Boya. And the outcome to match the soundtrack. On her strongest apparatus, Marine Boya came through the problem she was posed. Adria Vera has gone into 3rd. So, Vera taking a bronze medal. It means Loris Frasca, the Frenchman, has the gold medal, as we see Marine Boya. That was an amazing save. We wait to see where Boya will come in. Agafanova's score of 13.4, still the one to beat. It is Agafonova from Bachinska from Varinska in the women's balance beam competition currently. 13.4 will take the gold medal. Anything higher will take the gold medal. Happy, a little bit relieved, I dare say, to come out of that balance beam without having come off it. So a few scores still waiting in the women's competition, but the men's, Loris Fraska has a gold medal for France in the men's vault. Jake Jarman, has the silver, and Adria Vera putting himself in a bronze medal position and taking the bronze as the last one to go. Hayden Skinner, the unfortunate to drop down when he was in the bronze medal position. Zapata from Deluna, Dolgopiat, and then Emard rounds off the finalists. So the balance beam results finalised. Then Marine Boyer is going to miss out by a 20th of a mark. Diana Varinska takes the bronze, Anastasia Bachinska the silver, and Anastasia Agafonova, just 16 years old, from Russian Federation. She has the gold medal.